At 10, we have Florida. 9, Ole Miss. 8, LSU. 7, South Carolina. 6, Kansas. 5, Iowa State. 4, Illinois. 3, Penn State. 2, holy cannoli, it's Tennessee at 2. And 1, Ohio State. We'll start with Florida at 10.
I mean, they took care of business. Long Island didn't stand a chance. They were in our top 10 last week. They're in our top 10 today. There just weren't enough teams to pass them to really knock them down for playing an FCS foe like people we saw earlier on. But they really took care of business.
Ole Miss at 9. They're up 4 spots in the rankings.
Georgia State. That's it.
Georgia State, a decent team.
True.
I do mix them up with Georgia Southern consistently. But you're definitely used to it. I mean, I remember years reading the ESPN bottom 10, and he always calls them Georgia Southern, not State, and Georgia State, not Southern. That's the names he gives them.
LSU at 8, up 2 spots in the rankings for beating Clemson.
Good win, close game. You know, they weren't dominant in this game. It was close the whole time, but a good enough win to give them a little bit of a bump in the top 10.
I'm sure old Brian Kelly's happy with an LSU win and a Notre Dame loss.
Oh, absolutely. And he didn't have to pound the table this year and knock a water bottle over. It's a good it's a good week for the LSU roster. They don't have to deal with his wrath. South Carolina at 7. I love South Carolina at 7. They get a win. Norris Sellers, great. They beat Virginia Tech on Sunday. Again, good opponent. They win. They take care of business. They move up. They get rewarded for it. And here they are at 7. You love to see it. The Gamecocks are in the hunt as far as the S&D 50 goes.
Yeah, quality team, quality win. Lenore Sellers, as you said, I think he's going to be incredible. He should be in everyone's Heisman list. He should be on the short list from day one, and he showed it in that game. I mean, it wasn't a crazy high-scoring affair. The first half was pretty competitive, but they really put them away in the fourth quarter.
I think of him a lot like Joe Burrow. Not that we're not going to put him in the Joe Burrow category of greatness, but what I love about Lenore Sellers is the stories that I've heard about him are that he was in South Carolina, he was overlooked, Shane Beamer finds him, gets him on the team, and now everyone's saying, well, why didn't we ever look into Lenore Sellers? Similar to Joe Burrow sitting on the bench at Ohio State, behind all these great quarterbacks, ends up at LSU in the right situation, dominates. I hope that Lenore Sellers gets to shine, that he's healthy all year, and we get to see what he can do. Kansas at 6, they are up 34 spots. And like we've been talking about, before people rage quit and turn off this podcast, Kansas is up 34 spots for a couple of reasons. They have won 2 games when a lot of these teams have won 1. And one of those teams they beat went out and clobbered another team, so they got an extra boost for it.
Kansas in their first game beat Fresno State. Fresno State's not going to be a team that you rave about for being good, but then Fresno State turned around and just laid a beating in their second game on Georgia Southern, not State. So the fact that a team they won turned around and then just wrecked somebody else.
Spencer, Andrew, this makes sickos like me so happy. Seeing Kansas at 6. I just became a Kansas fan, guys. I just became a Kansas fan. Yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Let's see the 6 rating hold true. Like, come on. Fresno State, keep doing your thing. Go win the Mountain West. Kansas, let's continue on that winning streak from last year. Let's make the S&D 50 come true here. Let's go, Kansas.
Well, here's something wild, and I'm jumping ahead to Iowa State at number 5 as well. Iowa State, kind of same situation, has played 2 games. Both of these teams play big-time games this coming week. Iowa State hosts Iowa, and Kansas goes on the road to play Missouri.
Jacob, there you go. Kansas has a chance to do some damage to Missouri.
Yes, Kansas, you are our only hope. You are our only hope. Dismantle this Missouri.
There's going to be some separation. When we were back in 30s and 40s, teams were like within 5, 10, 20 points of each other. There's some significant separation between Kansas at 6 and Iowa State at 5 and Ohio State at 1. And even from Tennessee at 2. If Kansas goes in and beats Missouri, and especially if it's not even close, remember, Missouri is a team that we currently have rated in the top 20. If they go in and they just beat Missouri, or even if Missouri beats Kansas pretty bad, both of those teams have a real shot at being in the top 5 next week.
Huge game for the S&D 50 next week. We love it. Rock Chalk, baby. big one against Missouri. Please make Missouri work. Someone make Missouri work. Anybody make Missouri work before October. Iowa State at 5, like Spencer said, up 13 spots in the rankings again. They've played 2 games when everyone else has played 1.
And their
I like this team.
Their first game was good. Their first game was like really a battle of Big 12 favorites. And then their second game, they put away South Dakota. It wasn't even close.
Okay, Spencer, I was more impressed with their second game than
Really?
their first game. Yes, and here's why. Okay, honestly, I always thought Kansas State was overrated. But secondly, I remember thinking of the S&D index. I'm like, yes, Iowa State, they should have won, but it says 3 points, with that win in Dublin, but it should have been more. They took a knee at the end at the goal line. But anyways, South Dakota is a very good FCS team, currently ranked number 4 in the FCS. They made a good deep playoff run last year. They are a very, very solid team. And I was expecting, this is just crazies like me, sickos like me, I was expecting Iowa State to be on a little bit of a sleeper from the jet lag. Like, okay, we got an FCS team now. And the way they handled them, I'm sorry, but sickos like me, I was like, whoa, this Iowa State team is for real. Like, that they're handling this South Dakota team like this. So anyways, very impressed by Iowa State, what they did in week 2 with South Dakota.
This is why we have a G5 FCS sicko on this episode. It's for it takes like that. Illinois at 4. We love it. We had them at 2 last week. They took care of business. It was not close. But again, if you don't play a team that's as good as you or an FCS team, I think it was Western Illinois. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was Western Illinois. And they got passed by Penn State and Tennessee. And the reason they got passed is because Penn State and Tennessee played FBS teams. Penn State's win wasn't super impressive. That's why they also got passed by Tennessee, beating Nevada. But it's better than beating Western Illinois. And both were done in pretty dominant fashion.
I can accept a 2-spot slide from Illinois. I liked them at 2, but I can accept 4.
Well, I'll take 4. Go Illini. Penn State at 3. They have not moved a spot. They clobbered Nevada. Doesn't teach us a whole lot about Penn State, honestly. We have more games we need to see, but Penn State at 3.
Yeah, Penn State, once again, got a good bump in their rating, and you're starting to see a little separation here. The rating gap between Penn State and Illinois is 40 points, which is more than the entire rating gap between number 30 and number 50 in our rating. And that's because you started higher, you beat a decent foe. You're going to get a bump.
Tennessee, Rocky Top at 2, up 5 spots, beat Syracuse, who again, our friend Ben, who loves the Oregon Ducks, he's also super high on Syracuse. We will see how Syracuse does this year. It's not over for them. Tennessee gets a massive win. No Nico, new quarterback. They win. I think putting away Syracuse is a big deal.
Yeah, and again, playing an ACC team that could be a contender and just putting on the Jets. I mean, they were up 17 in the first quarter. It wasn't really close all game. I mean, Syracuse tried to make a game on it. They went kind of tit for tat down the line after the first quarter. But if you start down 17, like, that's it. Game's over. It doesn't matter if you go toe to toe for the rest of the game. You still have to make up that original 17-point gap, which was almost the final score gap. I think it was, 45-26 was the final score. So it was a little bigger, but that strong start from Tennessee, including a fumble return for a touchdown, that's what really set them up for success in that game and gave them enough credit to pass Illinois and Penn State and everyone but Ohio State in these rankings.
I love Tennessee. This is why we do this index. No poll's going to, but we did. You beat a good Syracuse team. What was Syracuse to start the week before week 1 in our preseason?
Oh, they weren't in the 50.
No, Syracuse was 32.
They were 32.
Yeah. Yeah, and like honestly on the notes of Tennessee, I feel like every year people keep just saying like, this is the year Josh Heupel falls flat on his face, and then I just feel like national media just wants this guy to fail, but every year he puts together a team that contends. Sure, they're not winning national titles. We'll see what happens this year, number 2 to start things off, but every year he puts together a really good team.
And lastly, Ohio State at 1. They have not changed spots. They are head and shoulders above everyone else in this top 10. If you beat Texas, you handle them, you are dominant, like we talked about in that Texas segment. You will be rewarded by this model and you will be clearly ahead. And it's going to take someone to come for the throne. But Ohio State at 1, I have no qualms with it. If you win that game in that fashion with a new quarterback, kudos to Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't really expect anyone to catch up to them anytime soon. There's potential for other teams in the top 10 to put together some strong wins, get some good bumps in the points. I mean, if Kansas really puts away Missouri, maybe they come knocking for that number 1 spot.
Let's go.
A runaway train
Jayhawks.
game from Kansas. Let's go.
Ohio State at number 1 with some separation. They've got a pretty soft schedule for the rest of the month, but they're going to play Washington in week 4 or 5, and they're an S&D top 50 team in the 30s. They're going to play Minnesota. That's another S&D team that then they have that showdown in early October against Illinois at Illinois. So if Ohio State can win out, they might have enough separation where even a loss won't knock them out of the top spot.
If Texas is as good as we think they are, they're also just going to keep pushing Ohio State further and further ahead. So, Spencer, give us just the breakdown between teams 1 to 10, that gap compared to teams in the 30s to 40s.
You see it right here. The gap between 1 and 10 between Ohio State and Florida is about 200 rating points. By comparison, the gap between Florida at 10 and, if you want to drop 200 points, you actually drop out of the S&D 50. The team closest to 200 points below Florida is Florida